levels. So, but what people understand from what they get from this is like, yeah, the cyclist cause more than 50% of heavy accidents. And I thought, well, is this also for the highway or I don't know. It just sounded so wrong, and I think it's wrong. And then there's this funny detail. This is so funny. This has nothing to do with me. You know, the guy on the first photo smiling, and the guy on the news, and the face on the CPF, it's the same guy. But the last time when I was preparing for the trip to Portugal, I said I will buy a ticket for Cascais with the app. And I opened the app and I saw the same guy. And he's a known Slovenian model. Actually, he's also my neighbor. So I could just add another photo. Yeah, we kind of have kids at the same school. Yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to stress how wrong this is. But now we the last part of my presentation in Portuguese. I started recording my rides to work. Why do I do that? Some people call me I'm really weird, but I want to stress how great cycling is. So I recorded this video, and luckily I have a camera today, because you will not believe what happened. I mean, obviously I'm fine by now. But... Let's see, it's good. This is exactly my point. Nothing happens if you have a route, a safe route, away from cars. By the way, I showed you the short version of the movie. I usually showed the long version of the movie, so to build even more attention and the drama. But yeah, nothing happens. And I say, cycling is not about just getting from A to B. It's also about socializing. It's all about meeting people. This is why I think you should be able to bike abreast, of course, because it's socializing, the same way you sit in a car, right? And then it's exploring the city. And on a bicycle, you really understand that you get. Just today, I discovered who Fernando Pessoa. I was so happy. I was so glad. Just a small detail that otherwise in the car I would never notice, but then I did. And it's also about, you can be really creative on your way to work. I started recording. You don't have to record videos, just enjoy. Include all those senses. You get the wind, it smells nice, the sound is great, you hear the birds, and it's just nice. And if there's no cars, and this is the problem. This is Marco de Bromenstruth, a Fiets professor. Do you know him? Cycling professor. He like you, Xenia, inspiration, because you kind of told me why
I should him.
Yeah,
maybe we should bring him to Lisbon.
You should definitely bring him to Lisbon. So I followed Fiets professor on Twitter because I really loved his tweets. But I didn't realize that he's actual professor at the University of Amsterdam, and he studies cycling from a social perspective. It's a social study. I mean, you really need to understand. It's not just engineering. It's also about society. What cycling brings to the Dutch society, for example. And then I read his book. It's called Movement. You should read it. Tiago has it. Great book. It kind of. I'm all in now. I mean, this cycling is all I think about, not just cycling, but yeah. So he helped me articulate my cycling agenda, so I can now explain to anyone what I really want to happen. And I realized we are so car-centric society. And as I work on the radio, we spoke about with Marco, and this is what video is all about. He said, you know, he said, and this is the video, and later I'll explain it, but just pay attention to what he says.
I don't know in Slovenia, but in the Netherlands, every half an hour on every radio station, all Dutch people hear that there's congestion, that people are losing travel time. So automatically you start to think, if you hear this your entire life, every half an hour on all radio stations, you automatically start to believe that that's a problem, that indeed speed and efficiency and the fact that everybody has to be able to move freely from A to B, apparently it's the biggest problem in the world, because there's no problem so big that it gets every half an hour attention.
But that's only in Netherlands. I'm sure it's not the same in Portugal, right? Right? Where is it?
At least every hour.
Every hour, yeah. In Dutch, in Netherlands, it's every half hour. No, actually, I think all of the countries are the same. All the radios are the same. And I work at the radio. I'm trying to convince the editors to do this, to just stop reporting on traffic for at least a week. But I'm not sure whether that is going on. I mean, I'm having problems convincing that this is indeed something that we need to do. But yeah, imagine, actually, and maybe because, you know, I listen to Antena 3 a lot, because also public broadcaster, and I hear a lot of good Portuguese music there. And so maybe this should grow like an international project where a lot of European stations, maybe within the European Broadcasting Union, could join and just for one day just ignore the traffic updates. Because it's true, what we're saying is this is so important that you need to hear it all the time. But again, we don't drive cars that much. I don't drive a car that much. I own a car. So I'm not, you know, people used to say, I heard the criticism of my work, like my problem is not that I try to promote cycling, my problem is that I'm against cars. But that's, of course, I mean, we're so car-centric society, and of course we need to focus on that. And just, I think you should be able to go with car to most parts of the city, but let's just not encourage that.
Actually, a quick question. Do we have any journalists here? By any chance? No? But if you know a journalist, you can pass on these words to them that they should stop talking about all the time.
Especially
or if we have hackers, maybe you can hack that and then just put something else on it.
Yeah, so, and now, to the surprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I only have one more video to show. And here's the author. Where's my phone?
Oh, the author is there, smiling.
Jan, yes, you can turn on the microphone now. Jan, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Put him on, just him on screen. Ah, he's there.
Yes, are you?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Let me just, Jan, just bear with me for a second. I will pin.
No worries. Take your time.
I'm trying to put you on screen.
The hacky way.
All right, you're on the screen now. Hi, Jan.
Hello.
How are you? Do you recognize the place? Or you're the host?
Well, we've actually rearranged the room a little bit. Now we have somewhat of a round table, so we're not seated in rows, but rather as a cozy circle. And Matej told us, Jan, and you actually forgot to tell me that you've been working on video for Ljubljana, and I must admit that I can see some Lisbon in that video. But we would.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
guys.
I always recycle. Good things I take again and again.
Does everyone know Jan here? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So Jan makes us spectacular videos where cars fly away. So Jan, our question to you is really, before we show the video, we won't actually stream it on YouTube. It's private and it's secret. What was different? So you made the video in Lisbon. You probably remember the 3 hot days that we ran around looking for a place. And then you did something similar in Ljubljana. How do you see these two cities? What have you learned from the experience of creating two utopias?
First of all, I want to say that I feel so happy that you now sit together there, and now I know the story because I didn't know that Matej has seen the video of Lisbon and then asked to do it for Ljubljana. Now Matej is in Lisbon. It's so funny, and it feels so good at the same time because it's so interconnected. And actually, the way I'm producing the animations is not so special. There's not so much difference, but maybe I could say as an outsider of both cities, my perception of Lisbon and Ljubljana maybe. So I think both cities, they are really unique in their grace, in their beauty. So they are really united by ancient urban architecture. And when they were built, I think for sure that they have been cars for a long time. And now both cities, they have to build a situation. And just like in any other city of the world, the cars dominate the streets. And especially in Lisbon, but also in Ljubljana, we see that the streets, they weren't absolutely designed for the cars. And this is very noticeable in Lisbon. The narrowness, the density also. And what I really felt also in Ljubljana and in Lisbon was the hierarchy. You know, how make me so clear